At number 20, I have the Indiana Pacers. Again, when you have a point guard in the center, that's a good combo. They got a superstar in Danny Granger. Tyler Hansbrough has been coming around lately, but they're still inconsistent on the defensive end. They give up too many easy baskets. They're bad in the transition. They're 500 at home, but their road record is really bad. They may be able to sneak in and make the playoffs, but they're in the same position as the Pacers and the Clippers and the Bobcats. So, hopefully, they can, like I said, they can finish the season strong, but they're definitely, they're not a lottery team, but they're definitely not a championship contender either. They're right in the middle. So hopefully the Pacers can pick it up and get better on defense. At number 19, I have the Golden State Warriors. Young up-and-coming team, obviously, with the spectacular Monte Ellis, one of the top shooting guards in our league. This guy's spectacular, like I said. Stephen Curry's been playing really well when he's playing. He's twisted that same ankle, 2, 3, or 4 times, something like that. So hopefully they tape that up a little bit better. They're playing in a tough conference. They're under 500 right now, but they have a really good chance to make the playoffs. With David Lee and all those guys with the run and gun, they're playing a lot better defense, but still, they're a middle team. They're not going to win the championship, obviously, but hopefully they can make the playoffs and get a good free agent this summer and hopefully finish off the season strong. At number 18, I have the Phoenix Suns. This is a tough team to evaluate because they're a very proud group. And obviously after the trade, they've been playing okay. They got Gortat and Vince Carter now. Vince Carter, to me, he's a shell of himself now. I mean, this guy sometimes, I'm watching Phoenix Suns games, I don't even know he's on the court. He's definitely not the player that he used to be. Grant Hill, to me, has more impact on the court than Vince Carter. And, obviously, you got a top 5 point guard in Steve Nash. If I'm them, a lot of people talk about this, if I'm the Phoenix Suns, I'm going ahead and I'm trading Steve Nash, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Obviously, they're not going to win a championship. They may make the playoffs, but, they're in the similar situations as the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers and the Sixers and all those guys. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. I really think they need to trade Steve Nash out of respect for that man so he can have a chance to win a championship. This guy has done everything for this organization. He's a stand-up guy in the community. He's a very well-liked and respected player globally, and I think they need to give him a chance to win a championship, and then they can get some young pieces back and maybe some draft picks and some cash, and then they can move forward. But definitely Phoenix Suns are a fun team to watch. When you lose Amari Stoudemire, you're not going to be the same team, but both players have shown, Amari and Steve Nash, that they complement each other very well and they make each other better. But they're great players individually, but Steve Nash definitely needs to go to another team, and hopefully he can be able to do that. Maybe they can trade him to a team that needs a good point guard and a veteran. Hopefully they can make some noise in the second half, finish the season off strong, and then hopefully do that for Steve Nash. At number 17, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a weird team. This is their 10th year in the league. Rudy Gay has been playing very well. Obviously Zebo, Zach Randolph, he's a 20 and 10 guy. He'll get 20 and 10 in his sleep. I like the way Mike Conley's been playing. O.J. Mayo has been slipping a little bit, but he's been coming off the bench now, so his role, it takes a while for a player of his caliber to adjust to coming off the bench. He is a professional though, but I like this team. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs. If not, they'll be the outside looking in, just outside. They're a middle team, the same as the Suns and Golden State. They're a fun team to watch. Definitely Rudy Gay is an up-and-coming superstar. Zebo is probably the leader of that team alongside Rudy Gay. The bench, like I said, is playing okay. Coaching staff's doing a good job. Offensively, they're a fun team to watch, but they still need to work on their defense. They need to be more consistent. They got to win some more road games. I mean, they're losing a lot of road games. So in order to win in the playoffs or be a playoff team, you got to win on the road. So hopefully Memphis can get it together, finish the season off strong, and maybe get a couple good free agents next season. At number 16, and I know this is going to be a surprise for some people, but I have the Milwaukee Bucks. The reason why I have them so high is because they've had a lot of injuries. Obviously, Brandon Jennings has missed the last month or so. And then you got Andrew Bogut, who missed some games in the beginning of the season, but Scott Skiles will always have these guys playing hard. They got a pretty good bench. They play good defense when they all are playing. And I think they have maybe the top 5 point guard center combinations in the NBA, and you know how I am about point guards and centers. So I still think they'll make the playoffs, and hopefully Brandon Jennings will come back strong, healthy, and the Milwaukee Bucks will be ready to go for the second half of the season. At number 15, I have the Houston Rockets. They started off the season slow, but I knew after a while they'd get it together. Obviously, Yao Ming being hurt, that's gonna really affect them, but they got Chuck Hayes and Brad Miller to fill up the center spot. Kevin Martin has been a real good player for them, scoring a lot of points. Aaron Brooks was hurt for a little while, but he's back now. Kyle Lowry stepped in for him. Chase Budinger has been playing really, really good. Shane Battier's been doing his thing. He always plays well. Houston Rockets will definitely be a team to deal with. I still think, obviously, they're in a rebuilding phase, and they definitely won't win a championship. They're a mid-level team like the other guys I talked about. But when you got guys like Luis Scola and Shane Battier and Kevin Martin and Aaron Brooks, you always have a chance to win. So I'm really looking forward to see what Houston Rockets do in the second half of the season. Number 14, I have the snake-bitten Portland Trailblazers. I don't even know what to say. I feel so bad for this team. I mean, they play so hard. The only professional team that they have in that city. With all the injuries, with the Greg Oden injury, being down for the whole year, and then Brandon Roy having surgery on his knees, and then you got Marcus Camby down now. LaMarcus Aldridge has definitely stepped his game up very, very well. Wesley Matthews is playing really good. Andre Miller's playing good. Nate McMillan is a great coach, and this guy is underrated. I think he gets more out of his players than anybody, maybe for the exception of Doc Rivers. But Nate McMillan is working with, a Band-Aid team. This team is always hurt. But they're definitely, looks like they're going to be a playoff team, maybe an 8th spot. They're over 500 now. They've been playing really, really well at home. Not bad on the road. But still, when you lose Brandon Roy, your franchise player, who probably won't play the entire season, that's a tough pill to swallow. So hopefully they can make some noise when they get into the playoffs. Keep continuing to work hard. And my heart goes out to the Portland Trailblazers. At number 13, I have the New York Knickerbockers. Fun team to watch, obviously, with Mike D'Antoni with the run-and-gun system. Knicks have been a strange team, too. They're actually better on the road than they are at home. And that's usually doesn't happen to a really good team. But the Knicks have really surprised me. I didn't think they were going to be this good this quick. And Raymond Felton, to me, has been the big surprise. I knew Amari was going to play good. Obviously, Landry Fields is definitely a big surprise. But, I have them 13 now, but they're probably going to move up when they get Carmelo Anthony. And I really think they're going to pick him up. It depends on what they lose. Hopefully, they don't give away everything, and hopefully it's a good trade for both teams. But New York Knicks, if they get Carmelo Anthony, I think they will, in my opinion. But either at the deadline or in the summer. But the Knicks will definitely make the playoffs, and depending who they play first, they might make some noise. I'm not saying they're going to win the series. If they get up in the 5th spot, they have a chance. Knicks have been playing better defense. Obviously, Amari Stoudemire is all that and more. He was an MVP candidate for me the first quarter of the season. He slowed down a bit, but still, they're playing excellent basketball for what they got. And I think they're definitely going to be a playoff team, and I'm very interested to see how the New York Knicks finish the season. At number 22, I have the Denver Nuggets. Very interesting team. Obviously, their record could be a lot better than what it is now, but obviously because of the trade rumors going around and your franchise all-world player, being rumored to move, that's also tough to play with, And obviously Carmelo Anthony will not be a Denver Nugget at the end of this season. Either he's going to be moved at the trade deadline or he's going to be gone and will not re-sign for next season. So the Denver Nuggets right now, I have them at 12 with Carmelo Anthony, but if they lose Carmelo Anthony, depending on what they get, they'll probably drop down. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with the Denver Nuggets. At number 11, this was a tough one because it was two teams that I was fighting to see who was going to crack the top 10. Actually, these two teams play tonight, the New Orleans Hornets and the Atlanta Hawks. And as I'm recording this, I don't know who's going to win the game. But if I had to pick one team right now to be in the top 10, it'd be the New Orleans Hornets. So that's why I have them at number 11. I have the Atlanta Hawks. This was a very tough decision for me. Atlanta Hawks are doing very, very well. They're really good home team, and they're playing very well on the road, which, as you guys know, last few years, they've been terrible on the road. So they've improved with that. Even when Joe Johnson went down, they played good. Joe Johnson came back a lot quicker than what he was supposed to do. But unfortunately, Marvin Williams is down now, who's a starting small forward for them. Josh Smith, if he's not an all-star this year, then I'm not going to watch the all-star game. I mean, this guy is playing very, very good basketball, and they can't pass him up this year. The bench has been playing good. Al Horford's playing well. But the reason why I picked New Orleans is New Orleans, to me, is a better defensive team. But Atlanta Hawks are good defensively, too. But obviously, they probably have the sixth man of the year with Jamal Crawford. They do a lot of one-on-one basketball, but they've been moving around a lot more with the new coach, Larry Drew. So we'll see how they do. Definitely a playoff team. Hopefully they can make some noise and see what they can do. And I'm very interested to see how the Atlanta Hawks finish the season. All right, now here's the top 10. At number 10, like I've already said, the New Orleans Hornets. That was a very hard choice for me to pick the Hornets over the Hawks. There's a couple reasons I picked New Orleans over the Hawks. First of all, New Orleans has a tougher schedule. Their wins have been tougher than the Hawks. They play in a tougher conference, and they've had some incredible wins. They've beaten some really good teams. And the New Orleans Hornets are a very good team at home. They're a better team at home than the Atlanta Hawks are, but they're not as good on the road as the Hawks are. But you talking about a Coach of the Year candidate. Monte Williams has been doing a great job. Chris Paul is still not, in my opinion, 100%, but he's still a top 3 point guard at about 85%. Emeka Okafor has been playing really, really well. David West has been playing good. Trevor Ariza has been a good surprise. Thornton's been playing very good. And New Orleans Hornets, defensively, people only average like 92, 93 points a game on them, and that's the reason why they're winning. Monte Williams, like you guys probably already know, he's been talking about defense since training camp, and they've shown it. And that's why they win so many games. Now, obviously, Chris Paul's numbers are down, and there's a few reasons why. Marcus Thornton's been playing really, really well. Jarrett Jack has been playing good, and he hasn't been playing as many minutes. Chris Paul hasn't. And they're getting W's, and that's all there is to it. So that's why I got them at number 10. I think they're going to make the playoffs, and you got to watch out for them because they're going to be a very, very tough team to deal with. At number 9, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, a lot of people are going to be surprised I have them this low, but there's a couple of reasons why. They're playing good. I'm not going to take anything away from them. They have a really good road record. They're a few games over 500 and on the road. They could be better at home. But the reason why I'm not sold on the Thunder as much as a lot of people are, because they're not a surprise team anymore. They're not sneaking up on anyone. Everybody knows pretty much the Thunder are a team to deal with. They're not the underdog anymore. They're a young team. They have a lot of good experience in the playoffs against the Lakers last year. I think they're going to make the playoffs, obviously, but I don't think they're going to get out of the first round. I really don't. But, we'll see. Kevin Durant, leading scorer in the NBA, Russell Westbrook, because of his summer experience in the Olympics, has been playing out of his mind. And pretty much everybody that played on the Olympic team, that gold medal team, has been having a really good season because they came in already in basketball shape and ready to go. So Serge Ibaka, he's in the slam dunk competition, and Kevin Durant's his coach. So let's see how that goes. But Oklahoma City is definitely going to be a fun team to watch. They'll be a playoff team. They'll finish the season off strong, but I just do not think they're going to get out of the first round. But we'll see what happens with the Oklahoma City Thunder. At number 8, I have the Utah Jazz. Now, the Utah Jazz, to me, are always an under-the-radar team. You got guys like Deron Williams, Andre Kirilenko, Paul Millsap, Al Jefferson, C.J. Miles, a pretty good bench. You're going to do well, especially with Jerry Sloan being your coach. But with that being said, they're a great regular season team. I think they're going to be really good at the end of the year. But when the playoffs start, depending on what matchup they get, I just don't think they have a really good chance to win the championship. They're a good team, but to come out of the West, they're going to have to beat some really, really good teams. And I just don't think they have enough yet to get that done. But they are definitely going to be a tough team to deal with, whoever has to play them. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they finish the second half of the season. But Deron Williams is probably the best point guard in the NBA right now. So we'll see what happens with those guys. Al Jefferson is finding his way in the offense now, playing pretty good. Like I said, the bench is playing good. So I'm very interested to see what happens with the Utah Jazz. Now, at number 7, I have the Dallas Mavericks. Now, a lot of people are going to be surprised I have them this low. There's a few reasons I have them this low, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Dallas Mavericks have been a team that has always been good in the regular season. 50-plus wins, 60-plus wins, 15 game, 16 game winning streaks and all that stuff. But the bottom line is they were missing a few things deep in the playoffs, and that was leadership and toughness. They got some toughness now with Tyson Chandler, but they lost a lot of toughness when Caron Butler went down. Now, I would have had Dallas probably in the top 3 or 4 of the power rankings to win the championship. But when you lose a guy that can score 18-plus points, get you a lot of rebounds, play tough-nosed, hard defense, and is just a good leader and a tough guy, that's a lot that's going to be out of your lineup. Peja Stojakovic, I heard, is coming to the Dallas Mavericks, but he'll be an outside shooter and stuff like that. But he cannot replace Caron Butler. And with that being said, Dirk Nowitzki's been hurt. They've been losing a lot of games. And Dirk is showing that he's an MVP candidate by osmosis, meaning by him not being there. To me, I think they should shut him down for another week or two. He's not back 100% yet. You can see against the Chicago game, like Barkley said, he's limping up and down the court. He can't even, get up and down the court good. And I think, like a lot of people say, if Dirk goes down, they're gonna they don't have a chance. So, I would just shut him down for a week or two, make sure he's 100%, then bring him back. But when you lose a player like Caron Butler, you can't make that up. And Jason Kidd, he's getting older now. Jason Terry's playing good. Brandon Haywood's a really good backup center. But they're going to make the playoffs. They might get out of the first round. So without Caron Butler, the Dallas Mavericks definitely will not beat the San Antonio Spurs or the Los Angeles Lakers. But I'm very interested to see how they finish the season. At number 6, I have the Chicago Bulls. I put them over Dallas because of the injury to Caron Butler. Now, Joakim Noah is out now. Carlos Boozer has missed the first part of the season. Joakim Noah and Boozer have only played 8 or 9 games together. But I really think the combination of Rose, Joakim, and Boozer in the second half of the season and then in the playoffs are going to be tough to deal with. Their bench is playing pretty good. Tom Thibodeau has been doing an excellent job getting a lot out of his players. Derrick Rose is an MVP candidate, a legitimate MVP candidate. He's a top 5 point guard, maybe a top 3 point guard now, and a lot of people are saying he may be the best point guard so far this year. That's up for debate. Chicago Bulls are definitely a team you have to deal with. They're a top 3 or 4 team in the East, and they're going to be interesting to watch in the playoffs. I think this is the year they're definitely going to get out of the first round. I don't know if they're going to make the finals or not, but they are definitely a top contender in the East and a top contender in the NBA.